Welcome to the Daily Rebel, Saturday bonus edition, for men who are done playing games with their faith and ready to live it for real. No excuses, no hiding, no fluff, just truth that hits your life where it actually counts. Because your faith isn't proven by what you say, it's proven by how you show up and live. So step up, men. Let's lock in and let's get to work. What's good, man? Welcome back to week 3 of the Saturday bonus edition, the Daily Rebel for Men. And we're going to stop calling it a bonus edition because literally every Saturday from here on out, it is the Daily Rebel for Men. 2 weeks ago on Easter weekend, we talked about how Jesus displayed 3 marks of a man, and that is conviction, being a man of control, and being a man of commitment. So men, listen, a lot of guys think control, and we're going to talk about that third one today, or that second one today, control. We talked about conviction last week, it's control this week. So a lot of guys think control means domination. Raise your voice, assert your power, and make your presence known. And that's the version of strength culture celebrates. Loud, aggressive, unrestrained, but that's not always strength. That's insecurity with a microphone, if you think about it. Real strength has never been about overpowering others. It's about mastering yourself. A lot of the Stoic philosophers talk about this, but it's stuff that's been backed up with scripture, because one of the fruit, if you look at the fruit of the Spirit, self-control is one of the fruit. And so it's about mastering yourself. As one ancient thinker puts it, he who conquers himself is the mightiest warrior. Think about that. He who conquers himself is the mightiest warrior. And Jesus shows us something completely different. Real control is not loud, it's restrained. Because anybody can react, but not everybody can remain submitted under pressure. So Jesus is now moving towards the cross, not in power delays, but in quiet strength. Not in power displays, but in quiet strength. He's betrayed, arrested, mocked. He's falsely accused, beaten. And through it all, he doesn't lose control. He doesn't explode. He doesn't defend himself. He doesn't retaliate. Why? Because control is not weakness. It is strength under submission. The prophet Isaiah in chapter 53, verse 7 says it like this: he was oppressed and afflicted, yet he did not open his mouth. Like a lamb led to the slaughter, and like a sheep silent before her shearers, he did not open his mouth. In Matthew chapter 27, verses 12 through 14, it says this: while he was being accused by the chief priests and elders, he didn't answer. But he didn't answer him on even one charge, so that the governor was quite amazed. So listen, y'all, silence is not weakness. Isaiah prophesied it. Matthew records it, that Jesus was silent in this moment, and he needed to be, because this was about to be what history was made of. It was what the prophets talked about. So don't misunderstand silence. This wasn't passivity. It was power under control, because Jesus had the authority. Remember, Jesus had the authority and the control enough. He could have called down angels. He could have shut down accusations. He could have ended it all in one moment, but he didn't. Why? Because he was submitted to the Father. Let that land. Control is not the absence of power. It's the discipline of power. So let me get out 3 points. Number 1, control restrains reaction. Control restrains reaction. Jesus is falsely accused. You ever been falsely accused? You ever feel like you got to defend your name? He's lied on. He's disrespected. He stays silent. No defense, no retaliation, no emotional outbursts, because he wasn't controlled by the moment. He was anchored in the mission, and that mission was for him to go to the cross to set us free from blood, from the sin, shame, and all the things that we deserved to die for. He set us free from those things on the cross. That was his mission. So he said nothing and let those men murder him. So listen, most of us don't struggle with weakness. We struggle with reaction. Quick temper. We got a sharp tongue. Quick-witted, defensive posture, emotional. We react. And when we feel disrespected, misunderstood, and feel attacked. And listen, I feel that. I'm a very defensive person. I always feel like I got to defend my name. I always got to feel like I got to defend my reputation. I always feel like there's somebody else to blame, because how could I possibly have screwed up? I get that. And I can feel very, very weak there. But real strength says I don't have to react to everything I feel. And even writing that and thinking about that and talking about that out loud, man, it really hits me, because as a man, I want to defend. I even want to get mad at myself and beat myself up for my failures. But look, here's the truth. Just because you feel it doesn't mean you have to express it. Control restrains reaction. So number 1, control restrains reaction. Here's number 2, control submits under pressure. Look, go back to the cross. Jesus is suffering. physically, emotionally, spiritually, and yet he stays submitted, even when it hurt, even though we know it was unfair, even when he could stop it in a moment. Because the key reality is control is not about avoiding pain. It's about staying surrendered in it. So this is where most men fall apart, because pressure exposes what actually controls you. Some of us, man, we shut down. I know for me, man, when people are disappointed in me, or I'm in trouble, or I feel like even my wife is distant, man, I can shut down. Sometimes we can lash out, escape. We can numb it. We can blame others. But what Jesus shows us is you can feel pressure. You can. And still stay submitted. Pressure does not create character. It reveals it. And here's number 3, is that control stewards power. It doesn't flex it. Jesus had all the power in the world, y'all. The very people that he let hang him to a cross, he's the one who created them. The very hands he crafted in those guys' mothers' wombs are the ones who put him on the cross and nailed him. He had power, real power, not fake strength, not loud strength. He had all authority, and he didn't use it to dominate. He used it to fulfill the will of God. Now, eventually, one day he's coming back, he's going to dominate because we've got the victory in Jesus. But he used it to fulfill the will of God. That's control. That's not proving strength. It's stewarding it. Listen, man, you don't prove strength by raising your voice, winning every argument, controlling people, or asserting dominance. You prove strength by controlling yourself, guarding your words, staying steady under pressure, and leading with restraint. Because uncontrolled strength is very dangerous, but controlled strength is very powerful. Jesus was silent before his accusers. He was steady under pressure, submitted in suffering. He didn't lose control. He modeled it. So let me ask you this. What controls you when pressure hits? Is it your emotions, your pride, your anger, or the spirit of the living God? Because as redeemed rebels, as men, we don't explode under pressure, man. We stay anchored. We stay submitted to the Spirit, and we stay steady. Control isn't weakness, men. It's strength, disciplined by surrender. There is a time to flip tables, but don't ever take a minor note in Jesus's life and make it a major note. There is a time to call for justice. There is a time, and we go to read Ecclesiastes, it talks about there's a time for war, there's a time for peace. But listen, a real man, we don't just have power. Listen, we don't just have it. We know how to hold it in the moment when it's supposed to be wielded. Man, thank you so much. We'll be back next week as we close out in this 4-week stint talking about what it really means to be a man of conviction, control, and week 4 is going to be about commitment. See you, men. Love you. That's your Daily Rebel Saturday edition for the men. Now go live it. Lead yourself well. Don't keep it to yourself, because redeemed rebels, we don't just profess faith, we prove it. If you want to equip other men and grow their faith, share this with them, leave a 5-star review, and we'll see you next time on the Saturday bonus edition of the Daily Rebel for Men.